Griffin,
Yeah?
you've posted something very alarming to me on Twitter today.
Alarming.
Jesus Christ.
See, I think my health would be more alarming, but apparently this is what we're talking about tonight.
I can only... Tonight, Griffin, it's 10 in the morning!
It's... What?!
It's 10 in the morning!
I thought it was 8 p.m.
No! Griffin, it's 10 in the morning!
Oh my god!
You thought it was this bright out at 8 p.m.? It's winter time.
It's dark 24/7 where I live.
Oh my god.
I was like thinking of streaming. This is what I was asking about dinner. Oh my god.
Okay, well that's not the point. That's not the point.
Okay.
So you posted a tweet today that said woke up at 7 o'clock p.m. today. First mistake. Wasn't true. Do I have lunch or dinner? You made a poll. One choice was lunch, the other was dinner. So if you believed it was 7 p.m., the only correct choice is dinner, right?
Nah, I probably would have had lunch.
Okay, so that's not even the debate, but I want to know why you even considered lunch that late in the day. That's like past evening time.
Well, because I always do. Like, once you miss a meal, I think it's fair game to catch up on at any time in the day. So, both meals are equally fair game.
I agree, but there's like a cutoff point. You can have like, I would say if you
I don't think there's a cutoff point. I have like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. lunches all the goddamn time.
That's not my point. What I'm saying is like, if you had dinner at like 7 p.m. like a normal person, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you ate another meal later at like 1 a.m. maybe.
Okay.
That would just be like a second dinner. It doesn't need to be lunch. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, so you're talking more so about the structure of the meals rather than the contents of the meals.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not... See, to me, there's like genres of food. And they're broken down into breakfast foods, lunch foods, and dinner foods. So when I ask,
Right.
it's 7, should I have lunch or dinner? I'm less so positing a semantic question and more so asking what food should I eat? Because one is dinner food and the other is lunch food.
Don't you agree that there's so much overlap though? Like for lunch.
Lunch and dinner has more overlap than breakfast food, but breakfast isn't even a part of the discussion for me. And this is what made you want to record this in the first place. I can hear that you're very angry with me right now.
Yeah.
Let's get into that. So I do not consider breakfast at all.
Why?
How does this make you feel?
Awful. It's the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Okay. List for me some breakfast foods.
Okay, so when I have breakfast, if I feel like not making anything, I'll just like pour a bowl of cereal or something. And there's lots of good cereals, right? The one I tend to have the most often, it's like this maple pecan flavored, it's like adjacent to cornflakes, but there's like actual pecans and like, I don't know, like it's some good shit, right?
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm gonna have to interrupt you right there already because I'm a celiac boy.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what that means?
No, I think you've told me before, but I forgot.
It means that I can't have flour or wheat.
Oh, okay.
Or I'll die.
Okay, well, there's lots of other good alternatives then. So if I do feel like making something, a lot of the times I'll make...
Okay, no, because if you want to make this a public debate, there's going to be people coming in and saying, well, Griffin, that's not all cereal. There exist options. And to that I say, they're not very tasty options. I used to be a Frosted Flakes kid. That was my... good sugar. But, yeah, and then there's like the sugary powder at the bottom, and then you pour the last bowl, and it's...
No, you're right.
But Mr. Kellogg, changed the recipe in an attempt to personally assassinate me. He failed. But now I can't have my favorite Tiger cereal anymore.
Right. Okay. Yeah, okay, if you have a problem with cereal, I don't mind, because that's usually like the worst breakfast food option. That was just like a starting point, right?
Is that so? By the way, I eat cereal without milk. I don't like milk in my cereal.
That's fine.
Really? I was expecting that to be another controversial point.
No, I used to do that too, and then it got to the point where I was like, this is kind of dry, so I'd put in like water instead, but now I've just kind of grown the fuck out. So, let me explain.
And
This
water?
this has always been a point of contention between me and literally anybody who I talk to this about, but it's completely 100% reasonable, right? I wouldn't do that for something like Frosted Flakes or something like Captain Crunch, like Apple Jacks, like things like this, where they're so dependent on the flavor of like milk. Obviously, I wouldn't do that. I was having shit like Cheerios or whatever, or like Raisin Bran, like stuff like
Oh,
that, where it's completely neutral.
I don't like picturing it.
It's just it's this completely neutral experience, right? Things that do not rely on the flavor of
Yeah,
milk, right?
completely neutral, like soggy cardboard.
Yeah, it was all right. That was a really dark point in my life. I was literally just eating for the sake of subsistence, and did not. So, I guess I can go into that a little bit. So that was at the same time in my life where every single day, just because I didn't want to like bother thinking about anything or preparing anything for lunch, I would have salami and provolone sandwiches every single day of my life for like months and months and months. This was true.
See, I've been in a dark point in my life for like 20 years because I always had the same thing for lunch too.
Right, right. Since then I've grown and I've learned how to not suck shit.
Hey now, I think I've picked a pretty good combination of things to eat every single day for the rest of my life.
That's what I thought too until I started making things.
Making things, God.
And it changes your life. It really does. So, to bring that back to my original point, there are better things to have for breakfast than cereal if you're willing to make them.
See, that's what gets me. See, but I feel like there's a lot of easy options, like for example, toast. I
Well,
don't
sure,
like
but you
it.
can't have
Or
that.
like fruit.
You can't have it.
I don't
Yeah.
like it. I mean, I love fruit, but like in the morning, I don't know. When there's like time restraints. See, typically, I mean, I'm really sick right now, so my sleep is, all jumbled and turned around. But usually I wake up like pretty late morning. For school, I would be encouraged to have breakfast, but I mean, even then I was not an early waker, so I didn't really have the time to do it. And when I did, I don't know, my body just doesn't agree with it. And then when I wake up late morning, it's like, I think I'll just have lunch instead,
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So breakfast is never been like something that I consider at any time of day. Even if I do wake up at like an early time, like 7 a.m., for example.
Mhm.
Like breakfast isn't even an option right now for me because I don't want it. I would rather wait literally until noon to have lunch.
That is so awful because, like, unironically, I wish it was breakfast time more often because what you can have during that time of day, what is made for that specific time of day, is so fucking good, right?
Now, there are more focused things.
Yeah.
See, I think that breakfast hours suck. As somebody who often made pilgrimages in the dark of night to McDonald's, I've become very familiar with the fact that they switch to the breakfast menu at 4 a.m., but they really switch at 3:55 a.m. because they have to switch. So if you get there at 3:55 and you say, hey, can I have a burger and fries? They're going to say, go fuck yourself. Go home. And then, I go in there. I've got a craving. And I got to walk out with like a hash brown. Which are like fine, but
Yeah.
now I've paid money for something that I don't really want.
So you don't like hash brown? Okay, so this is an important
Compared
distinction.
to burgers and fries, Max.
This is an important distinction, Griffin. Is it that you don't like hash browns or you don't like McDonald's hash browns?
I like hash browns of both kinds, but I never go there with the intent of getting a McDonald's hash brown. I'm always given it as a fucking like consolation disappointment prize.
Mm-hmm. So it's less that you don't like them and more that it's like your brain has been conditioned to associate the hash browns with getting something
With not
besides a
having
burger.
burgers.
Yeah.
See, but even then, I don't know if I would even ever actively go out of my way to get a McDonald's hash brown.
Yeah, because they suck shit. You would make your own.
They're okay.
Griffin, it's fast food.
It's like big potato.
Kinda? I guess. No, Griffin, I think the solution is you just gotta start learning how to prepare your own food, because I'm noticing this is a lot of where the problem comes from.
Well, now, okay, let's not go there, because for lunch and dinner, that is something that I mind doing less. But with breakfast, I don't think it's worth it.
It only takes like 4 or 5 minutes to like put some eggs on there, grill up or not even grill, just like fry like a few vegetables, like mushrooms or peppers or something. Like it doesn't take long.
I have never had eggs in my life.
Never?
Never. I would like to,
Why?
though.
Okay, why haven't you?
I don't know, just never have.
Oh, well, okay.
And
well,
I think my growing
try
up, my
it.
brother really didn't like them. Or maybe he did, I don't fucking know.
Oh.
But maybe that was like, that turned me off. Like, oh, if he doesn't like it, then I don't like it either.
Yeah, that kind of thing fucks you up. For a long time, I thought I didn't like seafood just because my mother didn't like it. But once I tried it, I was like, oh, this isn't bad. I wouldn't mind it.
See, that's one, I think my family does like I've never had fish. I've never had any kind of seafood. But I think I'd be
Yeah.
open to that as well.
Yeah. So my
But
first
that's just me
exposure.
being like a stupid baby.
Yeah, my first exposure to seafood, and I think if you were exposed to it this way, you would enjoy it too. There was this one like shop that specialized in lobster, like not even a restaurant, like a shop,
Okay.
and they like sold this like macaroni and cheese with lobster, like little bits of lobster inside of it. And I guess you wouldn't
What?
be able to have that because it's like pasta or whatever.
Thank you. Thank you for picking up on that.
Yeah, but because it was something I was familiar with, and it just had like bits of it inside, I was like, wait a second, this is really good. I'd be willing to try it on its own sometime. So I think if you found some kind of alternative that you would be able to have, I think you would enjoy it too.
Well, see, I think what gave it a bad reputation for me was I think the first time I was introduced to it was at my grandparents because they live next to a lake, so they like physically fish it, and I think that seeing how the sausage gets made as a baby,
Yeah,
just didn't vibe with me.
that makes sense.
But little did I know that that's where McDonald's comes from too.
What kind of?
No, they fish the hash browns out. That's where they get the Cheerios. That's why they're so soggy.
So, Griffin,
Yes.
so here you are telling me that breakfast isn't worth having when you've never even had like the main point of breakfast before.
What is the main point of breakfast to you?
It's eggs. Like the base of breakfast is eggs, and everything else serves to kind of prop those up, right?
Is that so? See, I
Bacon?
like what comes from the egg better. I do like bacon. See, but that's a rarity. I feel like if you have that every day, that's just not good for you. But God, do I love bacon.
Let me finish my point. So things like bacon, like bagels, which you can't have, like sausage, like all these, if you have all these things just by themselves, it feels empty, right? It's like having curry without rice. It's just like this weird like slop, like
Well, yeah, then
this-
you throw fruit in with that.
Sure, and eggs, right? That's the base. The base of breakfast is eggs, and everything serves to bolster that, right? So when you're missing
Now, this
that,
is a take that I've never heard. I'm very curious to see if people are going to agree with you on that or not.
yeah. So when you're missing that, you're just having these things that are supposed to go with something else, but it's not there. So it feels like this really
Wow.
empty kind of experience, right?
Wow, okay. So, give me some examples on how to prepare eggs. I'd like to try this.
Right. Okay. It's really quick. It's really quick. So what I tend to do when I want eggs fast and easy, is I take 2 of them. Usually 2 eggs is enough for me, just for one meal. Crack them open, stir them up, just a little, or you don't even have to necessarily. That can be our.
We
second
talking bowl or pan?
So what I would do first now is put it inside like a glass, like a mug or something, and mix it up inside of there.
Okay.
So that when it's done mixing, all the yolk and stuff is popped and mixed in with the whites. You just pour it into a pan.
Okay.
And then you just kind of let it sit. When it seems like it's getting a little too when it seems like it's starting to kind of get too heated, you flip it over so it can cook on the other side. And deadass, that only takes like 2 or 3 minutes, and then you're done, right?
And what's that called? Egg?
That's just scrambled eggs. Yeah, that's all scrambled eggs is. If you want,
That's
you would
what scrambled eggs is.
afterwards you would take a spatula and kind of like chop them up so that they're like little bite-sized pieces. But if you just what that's gonna make is like this egg pancake, and you can just eat that as it is if you want.
See, I've never been a pancake head, but that does sound easy.
Yeah, because it's just
And it
eggs,
is the
right?
morning, so
Yeah,
potentially my mind could open to this right now. But you know what? Also, dishes. That involves more steps than a lunch already.
not really, because all you would need to do is just clean the cup, that you put the eggs in to stir them, clean the pan, and then clean your dish after. That's
We
it.
talking like a drinking cup or a measuring cup? I guess if it's just 2 eggs.
Yeah, I tend to use just like a regular, like a mug, right? I just use a mug. Because like you don't need anything like special. You just need a container to keep them in. I find a mug is easy. An important first step that I missed is that before you put the eggs inside the pan, you want to put butter on the pan before and just kind of slide it around so that the pan is covered with the butter so that the eggs don't stick to the pan. That's the only other step I forgot.
I'm familiar with that aspect.
Yeah.
That's just a thing that translates from other
Another
things.
thing you can do if you want to work even less, forego the mug, just crack the eggs open, plop them into the pan, and just let them sit. That's called sunny side eggs, right? Because that's the kind of thing where you see where it's like the egg yolk is still perfectly in place. There's the whites around it. That's just cracking an egg, putting it into the pan, and calling it done, right?
I see.
And that's really good if you want to put it on top of like a bagel or something, which I guess you can't have. But what you do with that is that, so when you bite into the egg and like the bagel at the same time, the yolk kind of like drips into the bagel. So it becomes kind of like its own like topping or its own sauce or something. It's really, I'm a big fan of that.
See, I don't know how I would respond to that because
it's surprising. It's surprising at first when you don't know to expect it.
I can fuck with toast.
Yeah.
In the morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
But my body never agrees with it. I don't think my body agrees with eating anything when I wake up. I gotta like wait like 6 hours.
Oh, well that's so your problem isn't with breakfast foods, it's with your body.
Well, even then though, because sometimes sleep schedules can be whack and maybe you're up for 6 hours before breakfast. And even then, I'd rather wait till lunch.
But why? Like, why would you wait so long
maybe
when you
my
have so
brain
many
just
options?
associates like the sick feeling with breakfast food.
That's what I'm saying. Is the problem isn't breakfast food? It's your body, right? Which is reasonable. There's nothing I can do about that. But I will advocate that breakfast food is good and worth having.
See, I'm very curious to try out this egg theory because this is opening a whole new world to me.
Yeah, and it like I'm not even joking. It takes like 2 or 3 minutes. It's as fast as you would do something in a microwave.
Now, are we talking overall time or pan time?
If we're talking overall time, that's maybe like 4 minutes instead. To like get the pan out, get the mug out, stir it all up. Yeah, that's like maybe 4 minutes.
See, now that crosses the line.
4 minutes total is too much?
I'm just joking.
Now, if you want to go really extra, which sometimes I do, you can do what I was talking about before, where you add some other stuff into the eggs. Some people would call that an omelet. I personally don't because I don't fold it over into itself. What I typically do is I when I do something like this, I just make scrambled eggs. And at the same time as the scrambled eggs, I prepare other things on the side. So I'll chop up some green peppers, I'll chop up some onions, I'll chop up some mushrooms, things like this. And when it's mushrooms specifically, I like to use some sesame sauce to give it a little bit of a kick. When I'm cooking vegetables, I use olive oil instead of butter to prepare the pan. No, it's not olive oil. I use coconut oil to prepare the vegetables. And then once that's going, and I put in the mushrooms. I'm talking about mushrooms specifically because that's what I tend to use the most.
I see.
So I'll put those in there and I'll let them sit for a little bit. And then once it seems like they're kind of absorbing or kind of letting out their own juice and kind of taking in the coconut oil, I'll toss in a little bit of sesame sauce as well so that they'll start absorbing that as well. And then you just kind of let them sit. Almost caramelized, but not quite. You don't want them to be like squishy dog shit. Just enough so that when you kind of poke them with a fork, they kind of give in. And then once that's done, so you need to prepare those before the eggs because they take a while longer, maybe like 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Okay, well, especially the way you're describing them too, because I would like to interject on this vegetable point.
Yeah.
I think that this is what crazy Americans do.
Yeah.
I'm an advocate for just steaming or boiling vegetables, and I think they're really tasty just that way.
Yeah, and that's fine. If you wanted to do that with like broccoli or something, that's totally fine. That's totally an option you can do.
Don't get me started. See, but broccoli to me comes off as more of a dinner food.
No, you can have it for breakfast. Why not?
Can you? I guess I've never thought about it that way. I don't know. Fruit just seems earlier in the day, and then vegetables are later in the day.
No, because like these things like broccoli and egg omelets, like those are totally real things that you can, like this is normal. Broccoli omelets are totally normal. So if you just want to make scrambled eggs and broccoli as well, that's like an omelet without the omelet steps, right?
I see.
Bonus points if you want to put a little of cheese into the eggs too, so then it's even more like an omelet, but I'm personally not a big fan of omelet or of eggs and cheese, so I don't do that.
Well, I am a big fan of cheese.
Okay, yeah, maybe you would want to try that then.
And I'm not talking this American cheese either.
Right.
We're talking good old Canadian dairy, baby.
Okay, yeah, I'm talking like mozzarella, things like that, maybe some cheddar. Like little flakes of that you get, so like shredded cheese.
So you shred it, okay.
Shredded cheese you can buy at the store in like those pouches.
I know how to shred cheese, Jesus Christ, Max.
Okay, so yeah, just put that in with the eggs, and then it's done, right? And let it melt, let it melt and it's done, right?
See, though, I've never been like a grilled cheese kind of guy. How do you think that's gonna impact this?
Do you like warm melted cheese?
See, now that I don't know if I actually do. Like, okay, like a little bit. But sometimes I think there's a point where it goes too far.
No, I agree. So that's why I typically don't do this. If you wanted to put in like a little bit, just so it balances out the egg flavor, just a tiny bit, I think you'd be fine.
Right, okay.
I personally don't, because for me it's kind of hard to find that balance. I just haven't tried it enough, so I don't really bother.
Ah.
But if you cared enough, or you really wanted cheese with your eggs, I think you'd be able to figure it out.
See, I think I already just like have too much of it, so I may forego that. But this, what's in eggs?
Eggs.
No, but like, in terms of like a diet, like what do you get from eggs?
Oh, mostly protein, I think.
I'm
not sure about much else. Protein is definitely like the big thing. If you're having eggs, that's why you have eggs, is for protein. So if you consider something, so let's think like a 5-minute meal plan, right? Or let's bump it up to 10 so that you can steam the broccoli as well. So 10-minute meal plan, because sometimes that takes a while, right? Get the broccoli, start steaming it. While that's steaming, scramble some eggs inside of a mug. Pour that mug into the pan that you've coated with butter, right? If you want, twist in some salt, twist in some pepper, mix that around. And then, so that would take like maybe, 2, 3 might be too much. We'll say 2 minutes for those eggs to be done. So you've got this nice salted, peppered, scrambled eggs mixture, nice and buttery. And then hopefully by the time you're done with that, you've planned it so that by the time that's done, you've got that nice steamed broccoli as well. Put that on top. This gorgeous, gorgeous meal of broccoli, eggs, salt, pepper, butter. Gorgeous. You love to see it. Takes 10 minutes at most.
See, here's the thing, is that you make it sound very good, and I'm certainly more open-minded to it now.
It's so
and now
easy.
I know how to prepare it if I want to.
Yeah.
But the key part here is that on this particular morning, I won't.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, sometimes I don't want to. Sometimes I just have cereal if I don't want to prepare something. Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna have any kind of breakfast. See,
right.
I'm just very sick today, so when I made a Twitter poll asking what I should have, it's factoring that in. Like, shit tastes different to me. It's that bad.
Right.
Like I've got water here. I drink water. Water doesn't taste the same. So maybe like if I'm feeling like healthier, then I'll be more open to trying something new. But I'm just saying, like, I got things to heat up. I got things to just make.
No, that's totally reasonable. My problem was when your initial point was that breakfast food is bad, and I'm trying to disprove that.
Well, I just think from a structural level, fuck breakfast.
Why? Because your body?
Because getting up and everything associated with the morning just sucks, including breakfast.
Okay.
Now, I'm less opposed to the foods behind it now.
If that's something just because of your biology, that's fine. I can't change that. But I want you to know the food is not the problem. The food is fantastic.
I can agree with that. I'm just ideologically opposed to breakfast.
But you shouldn't be, because you've just agreed that it's fine.
And it is 8:43 a.m.
Yeah.
But no. And I'm sure this is going to be my downfall, because you said, Griffin, I'm going to cancel you over breakfast.
It's true. I did say that word for word.
What's coming from my mouth, and I know what it sounds like. I know how people are going to respond to this. This is it. My career's over. So,
Griffin, before we continue, I want... So it's like, that SpongeBob episode where there's Man Ray, and he's talking to Patrick, and he's like, this isn't this, and Patrick's like, yeah, and he's like, this isn't this, and Patrick's like, yeah, we're gonna do that, right?
Are we? Because I don't know SpongeBob bits.
No, you don't need to know the bit. I'm just drawing a parallel. So Griffin, I have some questions for you.
I don't know the parallel.
It's okay. You don't need to. I was just for the audience.
But the audience will, and that scares me.
For the audience, yeah. So, actually, it's better. It's better that you don't know the bit.
What are you going to do to me?
I
feel like I'm about to be sawed in half by a magician, and the audience knows, and the magician knows, but I don't know.
No, I'm just asking some questions. I want you to answer them honestly. Okay?
You are not. You just said you were going to compare me to SpongeBob.
No, all right, you're focusing too much on the SpongeBob thing. It was just it was a bit. It was a bit. Forget about the SpongeBob.
No, you're still going to do a bit. You're going to
Griffin, I just want to ask you questions. Oh my god.
You're going to squeeze me like a sponge.
Griffin, just let me ask you the fucking questions. Oh my god. So, as far as the things that I've told you about, like the eggs, like the broccoli, these things sound fine, right?
Conceptually, yes. I don't know what's going to happen if I don't like eggs, because then that feels like that's going to kill breakfast for real.
That's fine.
But I haven't tried it, so I'm open-minded to it.
At the moment, it sounds fine, right?
Yes.
So you agree that breakfast foods are okay. You don't have a problem with them.
Well, as of now, this is up in the air.
I need a yes or a no.
I don't have an answer yet. I can't give you an answer if you're saying that, like, this one thing that I've never had is the base on which all other breakfast is built on top of.
So I guess what I want you to consider is
I don't have the verdict on that base yet.
What I want you to consider is I'm not the entire crux of this argument is not this single meal. It's the concept of it and just how open it is, right? The idea of scrambled eggs being so inclusive and working with anything makes it this really diverse, really just valuable asset to like literally any meal. You can have scrambled eggs with anything, it'll be fine. You can have lots of breakfast foods with anything, it'll be fine. It's incredibly diverse and it always works extremely well, right? The point wasn't the single meal. It was the point that it works so well with literally everything. We were talking about cheese, broccoli, mushrooms, peppers, anything, right?
Mm-hmm. I like how passionate you're getting about breakfast.
That's the point, right? The point is that
someone's got to be a advocate.
Right. So my point is the fact that these breakfast foods, not even just eggs, but like all the other things I mentioned before, like sausage, like bacon, like, I mean, you can't have them, but like waffles and pancakes, things like that. They're so diverse. They work with so many things.
Hey now. There are such a thing as gluten-free waffles, and they slap.
Okay, all right, yeah, waffles are fantastic,
but gluten-free
right?
Pancakes also exist, but I don't like those.
That's fine. I don't like pancakes either. I prefer waffles. I love waffles. I'm a huge advocate of waffles, right?
Okay.
So similarly, those work with a lot of different things, right? You can have them with some kind of, you can make
but now those, for example, are a really big time investment.
I mean, maybe, but they work with, you can make like your own like lemon syrup, you can make some blueberry syrup, you can make some raspberry jam, you can have it with eggs, you can have it with sausage. All these things are so diverse, right? They work with so many things, right?
Max, this is just green eggs and a ham in the form of a call.
No. Okay, so my thesis statement, right, is that saying you don't like breakfast foods is like saying you don't like a book because you don't like that it's made out of paper, right? Where it's like,
which is true. That's a real fact about me.
But the fundamental, like, the paper isn't the problem, it's the words written on it, right?
No, I'm following. Keep going.
So if you're reading a book and you don't like the book, the problem isn't the paper, it's the book, right? Because you don't like the actual, like, narrative or the message of the book, right?
Okay, so you're saying that my reasons behind breakfast are not the contents of breakfast itself, but what encompasses breakfast.
What, more specifically, how your life circumstances have led you to perceive breakfast time specifically, not the food, the time of day, right?
I mean, we can't always come back around to Griffey feels sicky.
Well,
and then I can say I win.
I mean, sure, but that's not always going to be true. That's only true for right now, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
That's been the case for many, many years. I
Are
wish
you?
it wasn't true.
Oh, I thought you meant this kind of sick. Yeah.
Oh no, like breakfast like makes me sick. Like I just like feel nauseous throughout the day.
Okay, but that would happen even if you weren't eating breakfast foods, right? It would happen if you were eating dinner foods, lunch foods, just because the time of day, right?
Well, no, I guess so.
Just because the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
So the breakfast foods isn't the problem. They're perfectly fine.
See, I feel like a larger percentage of breakfast foods, though. I mean, I just made an exception with waffles and pancakes, for example. Even with eggs is the base. This is an interesting argument that I've taken into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get back to you on this when I get better, when I get
Okay.
healthy. I want to I want to take a crack at this.
Sure. If you want help, I'm more than willing to like walk you through it. I want you to have a good breakfast experience.
See, but that aside, there are a lot of things that I feel like are off limits because of celiac. Like, for example, I'm talking about McDonald's hash brown. I go in there, I'm like sprinting, the doors are closing.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and sometimes you just get there too late, and they've switched to the breakfast menu. Except they haven't, because the screens still have the burgers on them, and it's not 4.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the rules. But once they do switch, like all that's there, then I'm like, I think all I can have is just the hash brown, because everything else is like gluten, right?
Like what?
Well, you said bagels, for example.
Sure.
I mean, I try to avoid the breakfast menu like the goddamn plague, so I don't have it particularly memorized.
Besides bagels, what other breakfast foods can't you have? Cereal?
Hmm.
All the shit foods, right? All the shit ones that you wouldn't want in the first place. That's not what I'm advocating
Maybe I
for.
want shit.
Well,
Everyone else gets to have shit.
all right, Griffin. My first problem is that you're having McDonald's in the first place. You can do better than that, right?
I don't know if they make a damn good burger and fry for 3 a.m.
I guess if it's that late, I can understand why you would do it. But you got to start cooking for yourself. It's not hard, and it's so satisfying eating the shit you made and having it be good and having it be healthy for you. It's such a good experience.
Man, for example though, like this egg stuff sounds good.
Yeah.
But it also feels like a waste of a pan. Like because it's so low effort. Like I don't know about you, but we got some heavy duty pans. And sometimes I don't want to deal with that.
If the food you make is good and you enjoy it, it's not a waste. That's what I think. Because that's the point of a pan, is to make that stuff. If you're not making that stuff,
I know.
Then you're not using the pan.
But for example, something like a dinner is certainly higher effort than an egg. Like if you're making some pork chop, I don't know. It feels like the time investment makes it worth having to clean that pan.
I mean, it can be. I tend to use different things for dinner. Like a lot of times, I use like a wok to make curry or stir fry or something. So a lot of time I don't even use a pan. Pans to me are like more of a breakfast thing, just because the kinds of foods that go inside of that are more breakfast oriented, like eggs, right?
See, I'm very familiar with pans as an instrument for dinner.
Right. Yeah. For me, dinner is more of a wok, more of a pot kind of thing.
Make some ground beef. You're making some burgers. You're making some taco meat. See, now I feel like I gotta open your mind to dinner because you're just like,
no,
okay.
I'm totally open to dinner. I just don't usually work with meat. I think all meals.
Is that so?
I think all meals of every single day are perfectly fine. The only problem I have is that you're not accepting breakfast.
That I'm not accepting breakfast. This is not going to change.
But it literally has. You've agreed that these sound like good things.
See, but for now, the argument rests on in theory. Because, again, I'm trying to think of an egg pun, but basically, I already said this part, but if I don't like eggs, then I feel like your entire argument collapses, and in that case, fuck breakfast. So, you're on thin ice.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. If you don't like eggs, are you allowed to have rice?
Yes, I'm allowed to have rice,
all right,
Max.
Perfect. So, that's my saving grace, is that you can still have rice, so breakfast is saved. I will elaborate more if you don't like eggs. Rice will be the backup plan.
See, so that's a breakfast food? I
Absolutely.
guess so.
I have rice for breakfast so often, yeah.
Now, explain to me some ways you prepare that. You see, because I just kind of have plain white rice sometimes, you know?
Okay, so what I'll do, I don't know how...
But is there, like, a different, like, breakfast ways of preparing it?
Not necessarily, no. To me, rice is this kind of universal thing where you can just have it whenever and it'll work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is how I feel about most
I don't know,
foods.
to me it always comes off as, like, for foods that there are in common between different meals, like, there's always, like, a different, like, breakfast way of doing things. So that's interesting to me.
Theoretically, you could have, eggs on rice is popular. Sometimes in the morning I like to put bananas on top, like little slices of banana on my rice. Things like that.
One might even say, ooh, banana.
Yeah, they might. But Griffin, so breakfast, just say it. Breakfast sounds fine. There's so many options, right?
Now, see, the most you can get out of me is sounds fine, but is fine is going to be another matter. We'll have to convene on this.
Yeah,
maybe
we'll come back.
We'll have this conversation, and then just don't post it, and then we'll do like a part 2, like a postmortem on breakfast, and then I'll have all the information that I need to make a real decision.
Griffin, I'm going to post this immediately so that there's a fire under your ass that you need to have breakfast.
What the fuck? No, fuck you.
I need you to stay accountable. If I just keep this to myself, you will have no initiative to make it whatsoever.
What? No.
Everybody in the comments, go to @GriffinGalactic on Twitter. Tweet at him.
I'm gonna have to fucking lock my account.
Make the fucking breakfast already.
I'm so sick, Matt.
Okay, well, wait for him to stop being sick first.
I'm much further from health than you think. You've just doomed me.
No.
No,
because I told them to wait, so it's okay.
It's too late. The clout you wield is too powerful.
All 212 subscribers.
I've been cancelled.
But, so we can settle on that. We can settle that it sounds good, right?
Well, anything can sound good.
Sure. Well, some things don't, right? If you made this nasty-ass dubious meal,
yeah,
right?
This argument.
Dubious food, Breath of the Wild, epic gamer. That shit sounds bad, right?
I disagree. You don't know what's behind those pixels?
The point is that you're not supposed to, because it's that bad.
See, I don't know. I think maybe he just burnt something a little bit.
Griffin, you're strawmanning. You're fucking putting up, okay, well, it's not really that bad because I just don't want to agree with you. You're literally doing that shit.
What? No, I'm saying that if you don't have the answer, then if you can assume it's one thing, then so can I, because there's no actual answer for what dubious food is.
It's
I don't know why you're making this into a real argument.
It's literally telling you that it's bad. It takes away hearts.
I don't know. Sometimes there's food that gives you heart disease, but it tastes good.
No, Griffin, no. No.
I think I've made a very good point.
But so all right, so we'll change my position because I need, if nothing else, I will win the moral victory. I have convinced you to try. I have convinced you to try breakfast food. Is that correct?
Well, now I don't think you should consider this a win for breakfast, because I would like to think that I am a person with an open mind, but boy, this really has gone on for 40 minutes, huh?
But so no, you haven't answered my question. So
oh my god.
I explained to you some good options for breakfast. You've agreed that you want to try them, right?
Well, not necessarily that I want to, but that I will.
Why would you try something if you don't want to?
Well, because it's less so I'm so sorry, Max. I'm so fucking delirious. The fact that I've gotten this much of a coherent, big air quotes on that one, argument out is like a miracle. But let me just...
Is it true or false that I've convinced you to try breakfast food?
Sure, but again, I would not consider that a win.
I would!
Because...
I would, baby! always coming out.
No,
You love to
no.
see it. You really
I
do.
don't love to see it because wait.
Hmm.
Because it's I don't think it's a win until I like it, and we don't know. And
Okay,
again, I
all right.
think you should not light a fire under my ass. You should light a fire under the eggs.
Well, we will be. But I need to light a fire under you first to get you to actually fucking do that. Because I know...
But I'm not an egg.
I know if I don't do this, you'll put it off for as long as possible.
I'll put it off because I'm sick, which I have every right to do.
Yeah, I agree. We'll wait until you're not sick, and then the second you're feeling like not shit, I'll be like, alright, get in the fucking kitchen. We'll do this.
Can you just... How do you delete the sounds from a computer? How do you turn the volume down on other people?
I've made my case, you've made yours. Mine is good, yours is shit. We'll come back.
Well, now hold on. I think the reasons that I do have against breakfast are real.
They're not, because your problem is with the time of day, not with the food.
See, but that's a real reason to not like it.
No, because
it's a different reason than the food, but it's a reason.
It is. So if you had the food at any other time of day, you'd be perfectly fine with it.
See, but at that point, is it breakfast anymore?
Yeah.
Because we initially established that there are different genres of food, but if I, have eggs for lunch, what happens then? Your entire argument fucking collapses.
No, it doesn't, Griffin. You're having breakfast food for lunch. You're not having breakfast...
Fuck!
You're not having... Alright, so let's put it this way, right? Let's say we prepare eggs and eat them at 7 p.m., right?
Yeah, like it is right now.
Yeah, so you're eating something at dinner time, but it's breakfast food, so you're having breakfast foods at dinner. You're not having breakfast.
Well, that would be Brinner.
But you get my point, right? You're having breakfast foods at a different time of day. That doesn't mean it's still a breakfast, it's just breakfast foods, right?
See, maybe I think what we need to do at this point is maybe just, deconstruct the walls that we've created around food, because maybe I think... Because then if you have dinner foods for breakfast, then breakfast still sucks.
That's exactly my point, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, because if... That's what I was saying this whole time, is your problem is with the time of day. If you had food that wasn't breakfast food at that time, you would still hate it.
See, okay. Now I'm curious to see if this fire that you're trying to light is maybe going to turn back on you, because I think there are going to be people out there that agree with the systematic problems with breakfast.
Like the time of day?
Yeah.
I would agree. You can have breakfast whenever you want, and it's still good. It's just not during breakfast time.
Well, no, the word breakfast, to have food at the beginning of the day, I think that sucks.
Oh, I don't. When I wake up, I'm usually pretty hungry.
Damn. I wish I had a normal body. Fuck. Gotta flex with that stomach of yours.
I don't think it's flexing. I think it's normal, Griffin.
I think it is superhuman.
Okay, so let's real quick. Let's go back over our points. So.
Oh God.
So food, right?
Food.
Right? That's how we're feeling?
I don't know. I don't have much of an appetite right now.
That's fine, yeah. I'm not saying you have to eat at the beginning of the day. All I'm saying is that...
And I will not.
Yeah, you don't have to. All I'm saying is that breakfast foods are good, and I encourage you to try them when you're in the mood to eat something, right?
God, I wish I had an appetite.
Just because it's called breakfast food doesn't mean you need to have it at the start of the day. It won't be breakfast anymore.
See, but if I did, that would kill it.
It won't be breakfast anymore, but it'll still be breakfast foods, right?
See, but if not at the beginning of the day, when do you have it? Because at that point, lunch and dinner have already occupied the later times of the day, because they are the better times of the day and the better meals.
But see, you can't even say
that.
There is
no place for breakfast.
Griffin, you can't say that because you yourself said you've never tried these foods. It might be your favorite thing in the world.
See, but I'm talking about the time. See, because even if they are my favorite foods, if I start the day with them, I'm not going to like it.
Right, so don't have it at the start.
See, but that's what I'm saying.
So have it at lunch. You know, you're not going to have... Okay, so here's the problem, is you said you're having the exact same shit every single day. That just objectively is bad for you. right? Maybe someday when you want to change it up a little, you can have some breakfast foods in like the middle of the day, at the end of the day, something like that, just to change it up a little.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Stu, it's 4 in the morning. I can't do this.
It's okay. It's okay. We can be done. We can be done as soon as you say I'm right, because we all know I am.
Fuck you. Then I'm never leaving.
Okay, but so no, let me go back. So you said every single day you're having the same shit, right?
I feel like I had a dream about this.
About what?
That predicted this.
Predicted what?
Being humiliated in a recorded call with you. Like, I just got a very deja vu feeling of sitting in front of my computer, staring at the Discord call screen with QuickTime next to it, and feeling really, really proven wrong in a public way.
So just answer the question. You have a lot of the same foods every day, right?
Well, I don't know if I'd say every, because that's like one part of the day, which is, I mean, half the day.
Right.
But
so yes or no? Would you say that's true?
Portion-wise, no.
Okay. Are they at least similar? My point is, how much variation are you actually getting day to day as far as your meals are concerned?
Well, out of a potential 100%, I would say maybe 60% variety.
Really? Okay, that's better than I thought. So that
Well,
actually...
no, because if I'm having 2 meals a day,
yeah,
and dinner's the bigger one, and dinner is the varied one, then 40% is the same and 60% is varied.
okay, so that'll make it even easier for you to just fit in more variation, just something else to add to the possible menu, right?
In this house, there's only one thing on the menu, and if you don't like it, then you can go to your room.
Okay, so you're saying there's no variation.
I said the thing that I said.
And you've said something that contradicts it. Which one is true?
I said 60-40, and then I did a bit.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if there's variation, then just something else to add to it, right? What's wrong with that?
Max, you're very dangerous.
What do you mean? I'm just trying to get you to eat more foods.
I feel like you're trying to destroy me.
No, I just want you to enjoy yourself.
You're trying to annihilate me on the altar of breakfast. Like I'm just another egg. By the way, you really should. That's a thing you should say. You should say to people, you're just another egg to me.
Oh my god. I don't think I will say that.
And I'm gonna scramble you. I feel scrambled.
Then then you know what? We all know who came out of this one on top. We all know.
Shut the fuck.
We all know.
No.
If you admit defeat, then it's really just that easy. It's really just that easy.
Don't try to butter me up.
Once again, Max takes the moral victory as if there was any other option.
This YouTube channel fucking sucks.